Hello, everyone. And can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes, very good, wonderful. And as the Brahma Kumaris greet with a lovely term that reminds us of our truth, Om Shanti. And also good golden afternoon to everyone attending. And I would say good morning to Stephen, right? Because it's morning over there, 10 a.m. Now I know the timing. um, well, thank you for joining us this afternoon, and welcome to our participants of this Saturday Insightful Dialogue series on Zoom. Hope you are all ready to hear the ways to build a community that is capable of healing. As the title of this evening's talk suggests, that it requires a community to heal. And of course, our special guest speaker all the way from Brisbane, Australia is Stephen Berkeley. And by profession, Stephen is the director global business at Flintrock Consulting, and he's also a change and culture facilitator, and builder of value-based communities. It's a very interesting job to be part of, and it just intrigued my invoked my attention to and to this kind of service, that you work, you make money, but you're also serving so many. He has been studying with the Brahma Kumaris since 94, and is also an active teacher of Raja Yoga meditation, and is currently living in Brisbane Brahma Kumaris Center. He has spent about 15 years in India at our headquarters in Mount Abu, at the Global Hospital, as the manager of the organization development. Um, I would say his spiritual practice and his professional life are one and the same. And an integrated spiritual practice continually guides Stephen in his professional life. So, without any further ado, let's begin. And, dear Stephen, please, the spotlight is yours.
And good afternoon, good evening, and good morning here from Brisbane, Australia. You are entering into summer, and we are on the last month of autumn, of fall, just about to enter into winter. So I've got my sweater on this morning, and very, very nice to be with you. And this is a topic that very much touches my heart. And I feel that we all have a blueprint for healing within us. Each of us knows how to heal, but we've moved away from that capacity. And it's very much in line with the topic. It takes a community to heal, and honoring that each and every one of us has the knowledge within us. This is going to be interactive. Excuse me. Because if we've all got it within us, we just have to bring it out. And one of the best ways to do that is through some conversation and dialogue. And learning from each other's own stories around healing. So I hope everybody's ready to do a little bit of make this very much interactive, rather than a talk and chalk, so to speak. And also with my Australian accent, just please let me know if I'm talking a little bit too fast or you'd like me to slow down. And so I just thought, is everybody okay if we just do a small meditation? I know we've had the meditation music, but just to tune into our inner healing for about 5 or so minutes. Is that okay, Liz? Great. All right. So
it's perfect. Yes, it's okay.
good. Sorry, I just need to take some water before I do that. So I just invite you, if you've got anything in your hands, just sit comfortably and just take anything out of your hands. If you're seated in a seat, if you can just put your hands on your lap, just so that they're touching either your skin or your cloth. Just allow yourself to be present of your true self. Just feel that presence of yourself in the center of your forehead. Feel your original eternal energy just between the eyes. You're a conscious living being. Just be aware. Just be aware of the sounds around you. Whether it be the clock ticking, traffic, voices, birds outside. It's just sound energy. Just allow it to waft into your ears. Just allow yourself to be present to the sounds. Just let everything be. Allow yourself to be aware of your sense of touch through your skin. Feeling of your cloth through your fingers. Your feet touching the floor. Be aware of it, whether it's warm or cold. Just be fully present to the sensation of your senses. Just allow yourself to be gently aware of the visual energy. You, the soul, just observing and looking at computer screen, furnishings, colors, whatever it is, just see it as energy, beyond the labels. It's just energy. Let it flow, let it go. Just be aware of your inner thoughts. And if your thoughts have gone to something that you did today, something you have to do tomorrow, just be aware of it. Just thoughts like clouds in the sky. Just bring your attention back to your inner warmth, your inner peace, your inner calm. That's your natural your natural property. It's always been with you. Just be aware of your full body. Just doing a bit of an X-ray. Your limbs, your shoulders, your jaw. Any tension, any tightness. Just remember, whatever it is, it's just energy. Just allow it to flow, allow it to move. Be aware of your breath. Now just allow yourself to be aware of what you've created in the last couple of minutes. Just notice if there's any change in your physiology. Feeling calmer, feeling relaxed, feeling stiller. This is you, the inner healer at work. So connecting to your innermost qualities, your natural eternal powers, ignites healing. Just allow yourself to acknowledge the healer within. Just invite you just to close your eyes for a minute if they're not already closed. And just rub your hands together. Create a nice warmth and just place the bottom of the palms of your hands over your eyes with your fingers resting on your forehead. And just slowly bring your hands over your head, holding the back of your neck. Just give your hands a wriggle. Okay. So we're a small group. I'd just be interested to just hear your feedback from that meditation. You can either type it in the box or you can put your hand up and tell us just what did you notice the difference from the beginning to the end? How you felt at the beginning of the meditation and how you felt towards the end. Anybody want to tell us?
Hi, everyone. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, it was very peaceful tonight. So thank you, and I feel very relaxed and yeah, much better. Thank you.
My pleasure. Anybody else? I see a few comments in the chat. I feel quite relaxed after the meditation. I could concentrate on my own power to heal. Thanks, Lee. Thanks, Pranita. Anybody else like to contribute? Thank you. Thank you. Peaceful. Yes. Somebody else wanted to speak?
Yeah, me. I
Yes,
do have,
Lee.
yeah, I do have anxiety, and I'm going through something right now with a relationship issue.
Yes,
And
Lee.
And I'm finding that instead of reacting, I don't want to keep reacting to the situation. So I'm going to just sit back. And I found this meditation really helpful.
Right. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great. Thank you, Lee. And towards the end, we're going to practice a method I call step back. It's called SOS. It's called step back, observe and steer. It's a very simple way of really connecting, as you said, and being responsive rather than reactive, and just allowing our natural inequalities to help us to heal. So I'm interested, what does healing mean to you? And as I said, that it requires a community to heal. I believe that we all have an inner healing within us. So in keeping true to the topic of this presentation, I'm going to have this as a co-creation about what is our understanding for healing. And if you could just type into the chat box or to speak, what does healing mean to you? Who'd like to say something first? Healing my false perceptions. Okay, great. Thank you, Lee. Anybody else? So what are your thoughts? You've come here today, it requires a community to heal. What were you thinking about? What does healing look like and feel like for you? Getting into optimal health, physical and mentally. Thank you, Nita. Vivian, opening my heart. Nabucco, you can love yourself for the right reasons. Okay, thank you. So loving yourself, getting into optimal health physically and mentally is healing. Opening my heart, healing my false perceptions. So anything else of what you think healing looks like and feels like? Thinking about your experience in the past, do you think that you've ever healed anything before? And what did it look like and feel like? Letting go of wasteful thoughts. Thanks, Lida. Healing is loving and letting go. Thank you. Pranita, living in the present without letting past events or worries about the future affect your quality of living. Okay. Forgiving, I have a lot of healing to do. Yes, Lee, we all have a lot of healing to do. And I think that we're all on a continuum of healing. In my own experience, it definitely, even though I've been practicing this Raja Yoga meditation since 1994, the whole process of spiritual growth and development is that the more that you grow spiritually, the more that you can see of what you need to heal. So it's an ongoing and continuum. Healing myself and others. Thank you very much, Vivian. Lovely. And so there's a whole range of healing is staying in the moment of awareness. So there's lots of things for us to contemplate and think about what healing is. So I've had many moments, and often it's a physical. I had a chronic physical condition about just under 10 years ago, and up until that stage, I thought I was sailing along in life, and then I had a major chronic medical condition that required treatment for over 12 months. And it's in that process that you really get to understand how much you actually have to heal when you're faced with, you know, a medical condition that can be quite severe, or it's the potential for it to impact on your life, and your body really stops you in your tracks. And at that time, when I was going through my medical treatment, is when I really started to begin to understand about the importance of having a community to heal. And I was fortunate enough at the time that I was staying at a retreat center, and I was, you know, undergoing this treatment of drugs, and I was very weak, and there was a whole heap of side effects associated with it. So I didn't have a great deal of energy to do anything. But one of the senior teachers who was at the retreat center, she said, "Stephen, whatever you do, try and do something for somebody else every day. Try and do something where you're giving." And so what I'd do was that I'd clean pots or pans for 15 minutes, or I'd sit at the reception for 15 or 30 minutes, or I'd, if I had the energy, I'd go and sit in the garden and weed the common vegetable garden, just small amounts, 15 or 30 minutes a day, or something that I could do for others. And it played a really huge part in my overall completely being complete recovery from that medical condition. And when I was speaking to my nursing team, my medical team, and they thought that I was a model patient because I had that attitude of giving throughout the whole of my treatment. And often the particular condition that I have, that people would often get really depressed. And that would make their condition worse. But the very fact that I was in a situation where I was able to give was fantastic. So there's some lovely comments coming through that, yep, it is difficult. Nita's saying healing in the medical term means, like, for example, when a wound is healing, it is rid of infection and the wound is closing. So the same applies for spiritual healing in our thoughts. Thank you very much, Nita. I'm just wondering, Liz, can we go into breakout rooms at any stage throughout this? Yeah, okay.
Whenever you're ready, we can go into the breakout room. But just before we go there, I just wanted to share with everybody that when I was not feeling well and in hospital, in Global Hospital in Mount Abu, I was totally out of it. And then when I opened my eyes, I saw Stephen there. You came to visit, you know, and I was thinking to myself, but he doesn't know me, you know, I don't know him. Why did he come? But just by his, you know, simply his presence, there was a feeling of connection and a feeling of care, and that care gives you the courage to continue getting healed. You know, if internally sometimes we give up, but externally when somebody shows up, you know, and this is how I got to meet him and this is how I got to know about you.
Liz, do you know what year that was?
It was 2015, 16.
It's important because my medical condition was in 2013.
Right.
And so my level of empathy and compassion increased dramatically after going through that illness myself.
Mm-hmm.
So when I returned back to India, I noticed when I was walking around the wards of the hospital, I was in a completely different mindset because I'd been through it myself. And I had somebody who held the space for me like I was holding the space for you. So there was a time through my treatment that I had to have these medications 3 times a day, and every time I had to have them with 20 ounces of fat. And I was nauseous and I wasn't feeling well, and sometimes it would take me 2 hours to eat my meal just so that I could have my medications. And a friend of mine who was a nurse and a midwife and a social worker, she would just sit with me and just idle in small talk to get me through the meal, and so that I would eat the food and then could take the medication. And she would do that countless times throughout. And I had so many different people who showed me such empathy and compassion throughout my own illness that really transformed me greatly. Thank you for that example. I really appreciate that. And so what we're going to do is that I think maybe in the large group, people are not so keen to speak up, but I really find that when we do have an opportunity to have a voice and have a conversation with others, particularly on this very special topic around healing, and hear and listen to each other's stories, it really does make a difference. So Liz, if you could just get the breakout rooms ready, and if you could have 4 to 5 in each breakout room, 5 is fine, and that means there'll be 4 breakout rooms, and 1 or 2 will have an extra. And so what I'd like you to do is just
1 minute.
yes.
This is Sneha. She's moderating the room, so she will be the one who will be breaking.
Great.
Yep,
Thanks.
I'm ready. So whenever you want.
Great, thanks. Thank you so much. So we're going to invite you to go into the breakout rooms, and when you're in the breakout rooms, if it's possible for you to turn on your videos so that you can connect with each other. And I'd just like you to explore a couple of questions. And just that first one is, what does healing mean for you? So that you're on the same page, but you're also listening to the perspective of others. And what is it that we are healing? So there's two first questions. What is healing? And what is it we are healing? And then the third question I'd like you to explore is that if you have a story of where somebody else helped you with your own healing, or something that you healed, what was the context? What role did community play in that healing for you? So the 2 first questions is, what is healing and what is it we are healing? And the third one is a time when you experienced healing and what was the context. So we're just going to go for about 8 minutes, 10 minutes. I guess we've got a fairly, each group of 5, and I'll mix around the different groups. So are there any questions of clarification of what the activity is and what we'll be doing? Great. So stay with us, enjoy the conversation, come back, and if you could just nominate somebody within your group who will then just share the overview of what came up in your conversation, that would be great. All right, so we're going to do that for 10 minutes. So if you could just now do the breakout rooms, is it Sneha, I think?
I'll just start it around.
And is everybody familiar with breakout rooms? I just make an assumption in this Zoom sort of age that we're in that everybody knows about breakout rooms. You'll soon, in a minute, you'll get a message say, please join breakout rooms. Great, thank you. Okay, Jitendra, Zena, are you having any trouble joining the breakout rooms?
Hi, no trouble at all. Everything's good.
Everybody's good. We've got a few people that haven't joined.
Yeah, there's Noboko. She's unassigned.
She's just gone. So there was 2 Nabokos. She must have been on a phone and iPad or something. So we've got Jitendra and Xenia.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible for you to make me co-host so I can go in and out of the rooms?
Sure, absolutely. Let me do that.
And then I can just great. I can just go around the rooms. We've got 3 in breakout room 1. We've got 5 in breakout 2. Jitendra is yet to join breakout room 3 and 4 in breakout room 4. Great. All right, well, I might just go around, and if you just stick around here, Sneha, if Jitendra or anybody comes back online, you can assign them to the rooms.
Sure.
Okay, are you doing the timing there for 10
Yes,
minutes?
I'll do the timing.
That's awesome. Thank you very much. And if you could give them a warning on 2 minutes.
Oh, yes, will do.
Okay,
I put it
thanks.
in the text chat box, right? That we have 2 minutes remaining.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Yeah. When we've got 2 minutes remaining. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
This is Nobuko. Do I have a room?
We'll assign you one, Nabucco. 1 second.
You can assign it to room number 3, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you.
Mhm.
Wonderful.
Sorry. My voice, it's not opening. Okay.
So thank you. Yeah, it was great, and you're most welcome to keep your videos on, and it was lovely to see the level of sharing that was happening in just the two groups that I was going through, and some common themes that were emerging. So maybe if group number one, if you could, you may not know which group you were or room number, if you could just tell us what the summary of the conversation was in room number one. Sneh, you might like to tell who was in room number one.
Yeah, Harini from room number 1. Can you please share?
Or whoever. And
okay. I was going to say, are we able to unmute ourselves? Lee, did you
Yes.
want to speak since you took notes?
Oh, that's me? Did you say
Yeah.
Leah? Okay, sure.
Leah, yes.
Yes, we said, what is healing? And letting go, spreading joy and happiness. And when we spread joy and happiness to others, we receive joy and happiness. What is healing is when you're separate from God, you let go from past experiences. No, when you connect with God, you let go from past experience and you allow forgiveness. And letting go of past experiences is healing. The second question, what are we healing? We're healing from our past thoughts and our future thoughts. Sometimes we ruminate over our thoughts, which we need to heal from. What are we healing? We need to heal from thinking and thinking and thinking, and also from our worries, from our future, which we don't have any control over. And we didn't get too much to the time that we experienced healing. We were kind of stumped on that one. I think.
Yeah, I think, if I may interject, I think mostly what we got to was this idea of just being able to share with loved ones rather than, keeping it within ourselves. That helps relieve some of the anxiety and tension surrounding certain things. But yeah, in terms of specific examples, like Leah said, for the most part, we didn't really come up with any.
Great. No, thank you. Thank you for that. It'll be interesting to see what parallels there are with the other groups and also what other stories emerged. Thank you very much. And the second group, who was in that, Sneh?
It was Sandra, Susan, Vivian, and Xenia.
So if somebody from that group could just share what emerged.
Okay, since nobody will speak up. It was, well, one part of it was one person was speaking, saying it's emotional, like childhood, healing the past, healing the childhood, because when you learn to really care about yourself, you can care about other people. And it's only from that space of really loving yourself that you can connect with other people and have the compassion and empathy for other people. And then Susan talked about how she had broken her wrist and how she was able to really get the support of other people and realize that she had the ability to to use her other hand and how she became stronger through that. And then what I spoke about was the journey that I had for the last several months, 10 months. It's just not giving it the power, and see that everything happened for the reason that it happened, and not hold any negative energy towards what happened, and just be grateful for having gone through it, and grateful for turning the circumstance around, and in the future to really to actualize wisdom beforehand with, developing wisdom and insight, and sometimes listening to other people's advice. but then again, sometimes you have to go the journey yourself to find out what is your journey, and it was meant to be. And I really feel like because of cause and effect, everything in my life happens for a reason, so I can grow from it and become a stronger, more broad-minded person. So that's it for room 2.
Great. And it is that real balance of when to know when to go it alone and when you need community. And yeah, that's great. Thank you very much. Lovely.
Thank you.
And group number 3, who have we got there, Sneha?
Anne Reeves, Nay, Nabucco, and it was you, Stephen.
Yeah, but I didn't quite make it there. Okay, so what? Who would like to speak up from that group?
Well,
Okay. Oh, good. Go ahead.
No. Well, for me, the process, it's not easy to explain because, like said Anne, it's something more. Well, for me, the process is to recognize that to heal in myself is to recognize that I'm here to learn, and I need to push my ego, and I need to recognize that I'm not a body, that I am a soul, that I'm looking always to heal. And yeah, basically that's it. It's recognize that I need to share also with other people to heal myself, and recognize that my body, my energy needs to be original, like at the beginning when I was born. So basically that's it for me. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think that what I noticed from the 2 groups that I was in, but also from what I'm hearing, is that the sharing is an important part of the process. And I think it was Anne that mentioned in the group that I was in, was that just listening to the stories that she was hearing, that there was healing happening just in that moment. So lovely. Thank you. Thank you. And so group number 4, who have we got there?
Alana, Sister Lisa, Mary, Nasmun.
Okay, and who's going to share?
I'll share. I've already taken notes. So yeah, we had sort of a very holistic version of healing. So I had from naturopathic sort of studies, I'd said like physically, emotionally, and spiritually, like a holistic version. And another member had also was relating that as well, like from having an autoimmune disorder. And myself personally, like chronic fatigue, like, and we were both saying about like how emotions affect the physical, so healing ourselves on an emotional level. And the other group member as well was talking very much about emotional healing as a concept for healing, and that starts with ourself first, and then using spiritual knowledge, but even though that they still have pain, but using that knowledge to help themselves heal. And that was more on a relationship level. And some of the ways that we have used to heal ourselves. Like one example was one member like with the autoimmune disorder, and then like she'd had become quite unwell, like she'd been in bed and like just needed a lot of help. And like she was saying, like having community around her and having people around to help was very helpful. And also like she was saying that she doesn't often ask for help. So learning like to know when like to ask for help and be open to that. And one thing that I'd shared was like just recently, I think this is for my healing, but creating community through like we're in Brisbane, like created like a sisters sharing group, and just like the healing that we're all experiencing. And I've personally myself felt that as well. So yeah. And yeah, I think that's all. Thanks.
Great, thank you very much. It's you know, it's great. It's once we're in a group, and it's a bit hard to share, but it's always the power of intimate small conversations where we get to reveal our stories. And I think there was definitely some common themes that were emerging from those conversations around letting go, a lot around sharing. But very much the balance of when, with respect to when to go things alone and when to have the courage to ask for somebody's help. So there's a whole range of it, but I think very much was the common component from what I was hearing was the community aspect, whether it was through sharing, whether it was being part of a community that contributed to the healing process. There was a few other things that came out, was really tapping into our full potential. It was like the story, sorry, I can't remember who it was, about the broken wrist, the broken right wrist, and then had to realize that I never used the left. And so really there was this untapped potential in the left, and had to really use that and learn how to use that. So I think that one aspect of the healing is a situation emerges, and it opens us up to the untapped potential that is within each and every one of us. The other words that I heard come up was about wisdom. And that was the thing that I was talking about at the very beginning, was that we have the blueprint for healing within us. It is there, it is a blueprint, it is inside of us, and each and every one knows how to heal. But there's a certain recipe, there's a certain way for us to return back to that inner healer. And the other word that I heard come up in the conversations was insight and intuition, and listening to your intuition, because often there's a lot of noise that prevents us from listening to that intuition and honoring it, that it knows, you know, when to do something and when not to do something. And I'm sure we've all had experiences where our inner voice has spoken up, and either we've acted upon it or we haven't, and the inner voice will keep knocking on the door until we actually listen to it. And other aspects that came out for me, and I guess this is moving into the space of how we heal, but very much that this whole thing of self-love, that when you start to, it's very much having a community is an important part of it, but it is as much your own part that you have to play around self-love. And that leads us nicely into the next topic that I wanted us to explore. And then we'll go into a meditation to tie together all of these themes that have been emerging. But I think the thing that has just come to my mind that was emerging also was that this is healing is, and I think it was Anne that said it in the group that I was in, it's continuous. And it's definitely been the situation, as I mentioned at the beginning, the stronger you become, the more that you can see of what you need to heal. And so just before we go into how, I wanted to just explore here now, you're getting a bit of voice, and hopefully in this group situation, rather than going into breakout rooms, if we can share and we can use the chat box, what are some of the symptoms that start to emerge that shows you that you've got some inner healing to do? So we're talking about that, the inner space. What are the symptoms that emerge? And these are things that happen on a day-to-day basis. They happen for me. So since I've been running these workshops around healing, the more and more I've become aware of what I've got left to heal. So in your experience, what are the things that tells you that go, I got some work to do? So resistance, thank you, Liz. Repetitive messages that randomly pop up. Let me get those chat up so I can see those. Randomly pop up that I simply can't ignore. Yeah, Autumn, I'd love you if you feel comfortable just to elaborate on that. If you could just come off mute, that'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, sure. So yeah, I mean it's kind of what I'm trying to say there, which is that you'll end up getting these random signs. I think it's probably the better word that I probably left out there. Random signs that repetitively send the same message, and they're undeniable, and they're random, as though, you know, you're walking through a supermarket or driving in a car and you'll see the same repetitive message because you haven't addressed it, you haven't dealt with it, and it keeps showing up. It's an email, you know, with a message. It's, as I say, a sign on a supermarket ad. I mean, it's as random as that, but they're signs. So that's what I was getting at. Thank you.
Yeah. It's funny that these messages that tell us that we need to do something are often really silent. So some of you may have noticed that I've only got one arm to my glasses is missing, and so I'd been putting off going to the optical shop to get a new set of glasses, and finally on Friday I went, and my niece came along with me to help me select the best looking glasses. She didn't want me to have daggy glasses, so I said, okay, you come along. And so I took these glasses off and gave them to her, and I was trying on all these glasses, and as minute I took them off, the hand fell off in her hand. So it was like the glasses knew I needed to get them to repair, and I got all the way to the glasses shop, and the glasses said, right, I'm in the glasses shop, I can break now. And it's almost as though the messages were being sent to me for so long, and I kept ignoring it and kept ignoring it, that I needed new spectacles, and finally I did it. Just a bit of an example. So what else have we got coming up? Reacting to things instead of taking responsibility. So we've got resistance and reacting. What other if anybody would like to go off mute to just share, what else are some of the symptoms that they've experienced? Am I making you think today? Saturday afternoon, 5 o'clock, I came just to listen. I didn't want to think.
I'm thinking that we have to deal with the same situations again and again.
Yeah.
For example, in a work environment, you may have a colleague that you're having problems with, and so you change offices to get rid of the problem, but then you end up having the very similar problem in another office. Or in a relationship, you may decide to finish a relationship because it's not working, but then you end up choosing a relationship that's very similar. And so you realize that the problem is you. It's not the other person or the other situation.
Yeah, lovely example. I think that's a very common example. Yeah, lovely. Thank you. Any other examples emerging in your mind? Resistance, reaction, expectations.
I'm just wondering if you can help understand. You know, when, for example, I get sick, and when I get sick and I go to bed and cannot get up for a few days, people call and they offer help, and they want to come and spend the time and or to cook or whatever, get medicine. And I say, sure, sure, sure. But then I don't follow up, and it's that whole sense of you don't want to impose on others. And I keep thinking, if they ask me, I'll go and, or actually, if they're in a situation, they wouldn't ask me, I'll go and help and do that. I'll just do it. But when it comes to me taking help, it's not at all. It's not in the equation. So, but I feel like it's necessary to be able to take as much as to give. I just don't know how to soften that up.
Yep, and I'd be interested if anybody else has got any examples of how they've handled that particular situation for Liz. And it's around the whole thing is that, yep, I'm ready to give and help everybody else. But when I'm lying on my deathbed, I find it really hard to accept help. And I guess it's, it's rather than giving an answer to that, what's the question that you could ask yourself that would help reveal the answer?
I think also, like I just kind of responded through the chat, but I'm just thinking what Lisa just stated and shared her experience is what I was saying about constantly, like having to rearrange the choices that I make or efforts. And with that being said, also understanding the dynamics of who I am, or the understanding of healing, and taking support, taking the support in an easy way, which is others were sharing their experience about these signals or these signs that they're getting. Like someone just shared that an advertisement, and and you just shared about your glasses, how that didn't happen, it didn't fall off until you arrived at the store. So that was your signal. And listening to Lisa Ben state that, okay, well, when others are coming to her, and that is the support, the relationships that we're having in the process of healing. And the question is, the question, like the question, and where is that question coming from? Is it what level? Where's the understanding that I have? And I can only speak of my experience and what we're all here today in this beautiful gathering. What is it? What's the essence of it? So taking the support, like if others are coming and they're saying, hey, I brought you this, I'd like to do this, then is that difficult for me? And most of the time it could be, because if Lisa Ben is always giving, she has that giving, just constantly giving. So accept the support, easy effort. That's just, I just thinking like, it's kind of like that easy, but it's difficult because.
Yeah. Very much. And I think Autumn has also given an example. I used to be the same. BK Los Angeles family taught me that I was denying the giver when I refused. That helped me respectfully accept the grace with more love and less guilt by accepting it, if that helps at all. And I think that is quite a key, that there is a gift in the receiving, so that you're giving the other person an opportunity by serving you, and that's uplifting them because they're getting something from helping you. So when we see it's an equation, but it's a good equation, that you also will grow from them having the opportunity to help you. And I think in my own situation, where I was debilitated for 12 months and I had to take a lot of support from a lot of people, they do beautiful things like You know, just before this particular treatment I took, 2 weeks before it, I went on a 26-kilometer mountain bike ride in very arduous conditions, dusty, dirty roads, and I was absolutely okay. And within 2 to 3 weeks of the treatment starting, I couldn't ride the bike 800 meters. I was completely breathless. And so my friends would walk with me for, you know, because they knew that I needed to have somebody there because of my weakness. Even if it was 800 meters, there would be somebody that would come and walk with me every day. And so for a period of time, I was doing a lot of taking. But I realized that was an important part of my recovery, and giving them the opportunity, and it created trust, and it created bonding, and it created relationship. And that was very much part of my growth. I hope, was that helpful, Liz? It's great. Yeah. So there's lots of things to be aware of. Is what are the symptoms? And you could also write your own list. And I'm sure it'll grow by the end of the week. You know, you've got things like resistance, reactions, expectations, worrying is a sign that I've got something to heal. And in that situation, it's a belief potentially that I've got to heal. A belief that's no longer serving me, or an attitude about situations, about the world, about how things happen. So you'll find as you start to dive into this whole process of healing, your understanding in 12 months will be different from what it is today, is what has been my experience. So just quickly, you know, what are some of your things that has helped you to heal? You know, we've talked a few of the things that have emerged, self-love, sharing with others. But what are some of the other practical things or knowledge that's been really helpful to you in your healing process?
For me, I think actually the process to heal myself is to recognize that I have a process of awakening, probably. But in that process of awakening, I am having like different thoughts, you know. I'm trying to recognize that I have my ego and I need to push in another side because it can't help me to continue. But for me, actually, I am doing meditation. So this is the first thing. Another thing is recognize that I have an ego and I need to be positive in my process and be honest with me. This is the first thing. Another thing is the mantras. Some try candles, incense, a lot of things. Spiritual thing.
Great. Thank you, Nay. We've got a few things coming up. We've got forgiveness. Thank you, Autumn. Lee, meditation and yoga helps me. Lana, we've got, I think for me, feeling worthy and open to receive. I'm relating to my comment of reacting up more from wanting to help, but having the courage to ask because I'm not feeling completely worthiness to ask for help. So I've often reacted instead. I hope this is helpful. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's lovely. Realizing I have an ego and everyone has an ego, we can forgive. Yep, lovely. Any other thoughts about what has worked for you in the healing process? Vivian, you're...
Yes, I was just thinking, whilst I'm here in LA on holiday, I've done a lot of mindful walking because LA is much greener than I had remembered, and so many beautiful parks and places to walk. And so I think the restoring power of nature, being out in nature, being in the fresh air, appreciating the moment, appreciating the little things, a little flower, a squirrel, taking power from the beauty of nature.
Okay, lovely. And a big part of that was the appreciation, a great sense of the power of appreciation in the healing process. I've been, as Liz said, I lived in India for 13 years, and I came back to Australia living in the city of Brisbane in February of last year. And Brisbane is one of the most beautiful cities, and I've travelled to cities all over the world, and the infrastructure, walking paths, cycling paths, gardens, adventure playgrounds, it's just amazing. And so I'm always walking around going, how lucky am I to live in such an amazing city? So yes, it's very much about the attitude, positivity I saw coming in, honesty coming in. I love the example of mindful walking. And I think the thing with respect to healing is to mix it up. And, you know, I've written an article recently, I wrote it for Mother's Day, about my mother and her role in my own healing. And as a child, I had encephalomyelitis, and I lived on an island, and I had to go to a hospital onto the mainland. And whilst I was there, after I was in hospital about 2 or 3 weeks, my mother and my auntie engaged me in all of these different activities, art activities. And then my mother would send me to school for half a day, and for the other half of the day, she'd take me walking in nature. She'd take me to the beach. She would take me to all of these different places, and they were a very important part of my healing. And when I asked my mother, I said, was there any sort of hangover after I'd got sick, you know, any type of memory? She said, you were flying. You know, there was no sort of memory holding you back about that pain or that illness. But she was very much an architect of my well-being, because she knew it was all about wellness. And my mother had had polio, and so she had been in isolation, in an isolation ward for 6 weeks. So she had absolutely no contact with anybody outside. Her mother and her father could only look through the glass window. And anything that they gave them from outside, whether it was a toy or a book or anything, that was it. Once it went into that room and my mother as a child had finished reading it, it got burnt. Nothing went out of the room because of the quarantining and everything, because of the polio. So yes, there's so many parts, and just before we close, it'd be great if there's any other examples. Just meditation and spending time in nature has helped me, accepting myself, meditation and spiritual knowledge. So we've talked about ego. Is there any specific spiritual knowledge that's really helpful? Because one of the things around healing is the main reason behind that sense of hurt is a sense of separation from the self. And so what are the things that you've used that helps you really bring about that healing? What spiritual knowledge that has been useful to you? For me is the fact, there's 2 things which connected to community, but they're one and the same, is that I'm a soul and that everyone around me is a soul, and that they're my brothers and sisters. And that has been a significant stepping stone towards my healing, because it's changed the way I view the world, and it's changed the way I accept support from others. So we've got a few messages that are coming up. What are the specific? Somebody said, Lee said the Course in Miracles. Thank you. Understanding the karmic account. Nazim, would you like to explain that a little bit more? The law of karma, Liz, how that's helped you? Liz or Nazum, if you could just explain how that has helped you.
Yeah, recently, actually, I'm going through in my relationship. My husband has another relation with other lady. Then I was actually in pain. Then before last year, I start listening to this knowledge with Brahma Kumaris from Sister Shivani. Then I try to understand, and then when I start taking this all classes, I start listening to Murali, and then I start doing meditation, and then I think about what happened with me or anybody is something have to reason. And then even I didn't believe before this, we have so many births because my religions. Then I understand when I think about this, yeah, it's true. This, we have a 84 births or 26 births. Before I didn't understand that, and I didn't know that because I am Muslim. In our religion, it's not allowed to that. And then I think a lot, and then I study a lot for karmic account. Then whatever happened now with me, I just think about, definitely I have anything karmic account with him or her. That's why they reply me to this behavior or any situation. Then I take easily everything, and then I heal myself. This is it's I did before something with them. That's why maybe it's come to me. Then I have to change my thought and behavior. Now, whatever happened to me now, I always think positive, and I always give them positive vibration or think about them, and I pray for them actually. And I get result actually.
Thank you, Nasman. Thank you. Yeah, and look, you know, the law of karma is another 2-month course, and there's much to learn. And you know, I'm still learning, and definitely it's been an important part of me applying a full stop in my mind around situations and why things happen. And look, I know that we are running out of time, Liz. I think we've got about 5 minutes left. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes, correct. You know,
Yeah,
because
okay.
we usually have our meditation for public in 6:30. Now it's 6:25.
Yeah, great. Oh, wow, there's lots of comments that have come up as well. So I'll just go through these last comments, and then we'll go into a closing healing. But if you want to know more about the laws of karma and how that can give you a great sense of peace about what's happening in the world, I'm sure Liz and everybody at the LA Centre will be able to point you in the right direction. So we've got a comment: healing in every manner, physical, mental, doesn't come overnight. Yep, very true. And the yoga, yep, power of God has really helped. And the knowledge. Okay, wonderful. And Alana, dealing with emotions as they come up and not letting them build up. Yeah, that's powerful. It's really powerful in terms of being more emotionally aware. I've really had to extend my ability to be aware of my emotions, and it's been a long process. Emotional capability, I guess. So thank you. Learning how to process and release them so that I can feel happier and not carrying around lots of baggage that affects how I perceive future events. Yeah, thank you. So thank you everybody for participating and contributing to the community with respect to our understanding of what healing is, what healing looks like, what healing feels like, what the symptoms of it are, and how do we go about healing. And we really didn't spend so much time on that. But as I said at the beginning, I just want to do a quick meditation commentary, which is just to close us off, which is on the using this SOS. And it's a really useful acronym to remember, and it stands for step back, observe, and steer. And it's really useful in any situation. I've taught this in companies and in organizations. It's a very simple process. So we'll just close with this 3 or 4 minute meditation so that you can join the LA community meditation on this lovely, is it a sunny afternoon in LA? Okay, great.
Mm.
Just allow yourself to take a deep breath. Just allow yourself to become the observer of your thoughts and feelings. Just sitting in the center of your forehead. Just feel your eternal energy. And just allow yourself to be aware of your inner world. And just ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? One of the things that emerged in our conversation around how do we heal is around honesty. It just doesn't matter what you're feeling. You're feeling tired, or you're feeling alert, you're feeling enthusiastic, you're feeling peaceful. Just enable yourself to label it, feel it, and see it. And just allow yourself to be in this state of flow, where you're just being more in tune with your innermost feelings, your innermost qualities. And just allow yourself that any time any thought comes up, or feeling of resistance, feeling of reaction, or worry, those symptoms that we need something to heal. Just remember SOS, step back from the thought or feeling. Just see it as a cloud in the sky. It is not who you are. It never was. Just allow yourself to then observe it as though you're observing it from afar. So you've stepped back, you're observing your feeling, let it go, let it flow, and then steer. Steer your thoughts towards your innermost potential, your innermost strengths, your wisdom, your insight, your love, your peace. Step back, observe, steer. It's constant. It can happen many times within a minute. It can stabilize you for 10 minutes. You can use it during the day. You can use it during work. You don't need to be physically stationary to use SOS in action. Step back, let it go, observe, let it flow, steer to your center, to your core. And your core is Om Shanti. I am peace. My original nature was always peace. So hold on to this experience. Experiment with what you've learned today. Write down some notes about what you've learned and what you'd like to experiment with this week. And good luck and best wishes and God's blessings from here in Brisbane.
Thank you very much. Thanks for bringing Brisbane to us.
Thank you.
And the wisdom of
You've
Brisbane.
got double Brisbane here. You've got Alana has come from Brisbane as well. So thanks for coming, Alana.
Thank you. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, thank you. I want to go to Brisbane.
Thank you.
I want to move there. Get out of. It sounds so beautiful.
Welcome, Sandra. But just remember, who was it that said about moving to another job and you get the same problems?
Exactly. So I got to overcome it all over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're most welcome. We'll greet you with open arms. Well, once we let you into the country.
Does it snow there? Where in your
Not
part?
where I am. No snow. No
Oh,
snow.
oh, good.
But our borders are very restricted to citizens and stuff like that due to
I
the
heard
pandemic.
that.
Yeah.
I heard that is, yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining. And
Likewise.
okay. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.